in Abu Dhabi for the second and final UIM Nations Cup Grand Prix of 2013. This is a breathtaking city. It features some of the grandest and most impressive architecture in the world. Space-age skyscrapers, incredible mosques, state-of-the-art architecture, wealth, opulence, and splendor everywhere. Abu Dhabi offers a unique lifestyle with its beaches, water sports, deserts, and adventure sports opportunities. It also has a vibrant nightlife and one of the most beautiful tower-studded skylines in the world. This is a place where tradition and modernity come together harmoniously, as Abu Dhabi is very bound to its past, its customs, and its rich heritage. This is the first Nations Cup Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi. With its exceptionally cosmopolitan feel, amazing mix of cultures, and its status as one of the world's top venues for marine motorsports, Abu Dhabi is the perfect venue for hosting the 2013 UIM Nations Cup Decider. In Qatar, the Russians proved that in the Nations Cup, teamwork and consistency is key. They had a runner-up finish in the match race, followed by an impressive third and fourth place finish in Sprint Race 1. In Sprint Race 2, they focused on finishing the race without pushing too hard, getting 5th and 7th position. That sealed them the Qatar Grand Prix victory as they amassed 94 points coming into Abu Dhabi. Team Russia has 2 new pilots for Abu Dhabi. Dmitry Malkin sharing driving duties with Mikhail Kitashev in boat number 5, and Konstantin Ustinov sharing boat number 6 with Dmitry Vandyshev. The man who dominated the sprint races in Doha was Team UAE's Rashid Al Khamzi, who won both of them in convincing style. But he didn't get the support he needed from his teammate Mohammed Al Meherbi, who led Sprint Race 1 briefly from pole before being passed by his teammate and then crashing out on lap 7. That meant they only managed 3rd place in the World Series with 81 points going into Abu Dhabi. But the 2-time Nations Cup champs Team UAE are definitely the favorites here in home waters. The UAE's perennial marine motorsports nemesis, Team Qatar, got some impressive results as Nations Cup regular Khalid Al Kuwari won the match race in Doha and then went on to get a runner-up finish in Sprint Race 1, followed by 3rd place in Sprint Race 2. His teammate Mohammed Al Obaidli had a rough time of it, retiring in Race 1 with an engine failure, and then crashing out in a spectacular barrel roll after the start lap of Race 2. But the Qataris still racked up 79 points in their home Grand Prix, placing them just 2 points behind Team UAE. The team that stood out for their fearless, exciting racing in Qatar was Team Norway. Stan Slattedalen crashed out in the match race, while his teammate Christian Carlsen crashed out in the time trials. The hard-racing, gung-ho Norwegians had to merge their 2 boats into one good boat. Carlsen in the first sprint race getting 5th place. Then Slattedalen produced an incredible Race 2, where he moved up from 4th place, passing the Russian boat on lap 7, and then passing Al Kuwari on lap 12 to finish 2nd. They are definitely ones to watch out for in Abu Dhabi. The big surprise so far has been Saudi Arabia, as Naeem Al-Qadawi and Saud Hamad's safe, consistency-based team strategy earned them an overall runner-up finish in the team standings. Team Lebanon's Lebosh Chaguri flipped and crashed out in Sprint Race 1 in Qatar, but he'll be back for Abu Dhabi, ready and focused for the second and final round of the 2013 Nations Cup. Now there are two new teams in the mix. Team Venezuela features Antonino Spitaleri, with team manager Fabricio Bocca, a former F1 H2O champion.
We expect a race of experience. It's the first time that Tony and us we have managed this kind of boat. I think that this is a perfect race course for Tony, because it's a flat race course and he can make a very good experience. So that's what we're looking for.
Another newcomer is powerboating powerhouse Italy, with Marco Gambi in boat number 13 and the young and talented Stefano Pauletti in boat number 14. They're led by team manager Francesco Cantando, one of the world's top F1 H2O pilots. The all-important time trials would determine the match race draw and the first sprint race lineup. The big surprise on the day was Stefano Pauletti of Italy. He was fastest in morning practice, and he came out with a thundering fastest lap time of 46.16 seconds. Stan Slattedalen of Team Norway tried to better the Italians' time, but only managed 46.62 after 36 laps in the 1-hour time trial session. Slattedalen had no answer for Team Qatar's Khalid Al-Kuwari, as the Qatari driver got a fastest time of 46.60 seconds. But it wasn't enough to challenge Pauletti of Team Italy. It was an unlucky day for Al-Kuwari's teammate Alo Baidli, who blew his boat over in just his third lap. Alo Baidli was unhurt, but the same couldn't be said for Qatar's championship hopes.
Too much air. Beginner.
Then came the UAE drivers. They stormed around that circuit like they owned it. Mohammed Al-Meherbi gave it all he had, and he was able to beat Pauletti by just 0.05 of a second. Meanwhile, Pauletti's teammate Marco Gambi tried to push for the top 5 with a time of 46.75 seconds. Team Italy is aiming high, and they need their drivers to have as good a place on the start grid as possible. They do a prop change on Marco Gambi's boat, and he heads back out on the water. In the end, none of those drivers were able to nab pole position. Standing head and shoulders above the rest was Rashid Al-Kemzi of Team UAE. He needed only 12 laps to become the only driver to break the 46-second threshold, posting an incredible time of 45.82 seconds to win the time trial. His teammate Mohammed Al-Meherbi ensured it would be a Team UAE 1-2, with Stefano Pauletti settling for third, followed by Al-Kuwari in fourth, Slattedalen in 6th. The Russians fared poorly in 7th and 9th, promising result for Spitaleri in 8th for Venezuela, Chaguri of Lebanon and Al-Kadawi of Saudi Arabia down at the bottom, with Saud Hamad unable to start. In the match race, drivers face each other in a best-of-3 run, one-on-one elimination showdown on a 2-pin alternate course. time trials winner Rashid Al-Khemzi knocked out Zlatadalin in the quarters, followed by Stefano Pauletti in the semis. In the final, he would face the Qatar match race winner Khalid Al-Kuwari, who handily disposed of Saudi Naeem Al-Qadawi, then Russian Dmitry Malkin, followed by a tightly contested win against Italian Marco Gambi in the semis. While Pauletti beat Gambi in the all-Italian match for third place, the final saw another classic UAE versus Qatar showdown. Rashid Al-Khemzi nabbed the first run, proving quicker than Kuwari. In the second run, Al-Khemzi once again put in an extraordinary performance to beat Kuwari to the finish line. But it was a jump start, so it was down to the final run. It was another jump start. That gave the match race win once again to Khalid Al-Kuwari of Team Qatar. He is certainly the master of Nations Cup match racing. At the end of the match race, that third and fourth place finish for Team Italy gave them the lead by 1 point in the team standings. UAE second on 37 points, Team Norway third on 27. Going into Sprint Race 1, Team Italy leads the standings just 1 point ahead of Team UAE as Pauletti and Gambi prepare for their first ever Nations Cup race.
This morning we was quite fast with Marco. Stefano didn't make a good lap, but it was not interesting. He was much more focused on the starts. We get a better feeling with Marco's boat now. Yesterday he's not racing from 3 years, so he takes a little time to get out from from the sleeping, and he got this morning, so I'm confident that we will have a good race.
Tied on 27 points are Team Norway and Team Russia after the match race. Team Saudi Arabia have 25 points, and they'll be opting for a consistency-based team strategy again. Two-time Nations Cup champions Team UAE know that they're the favorites here in home waters. Al-Khemzi and Al-Maherbi are aware of what's expected of them.
Weather is good, water is calm, a lot of competition. Hopefully we achieve good results and keep leading the race and finish the race safely in good positions to just gain more points and trying to win the championship as a team.
Starting lineup, a Team UAE 1-2, then Pauletti third on the grid, followed by Al-Kuwari on fourth. Norway's Zlatadalin starts fifth, next to Italian Marco Gambi in sixth. Sprint Race 1 is underway. In pole position, Rashid Al-Khemzi leads the pack to the all-shot. His teammate Al-Maherbi struggles to accelerate on that long start straightaway. Christian Carlsen gets squeezed in between Venezuelan's Spitaleri and Lebanon's Chagouri. Al-Khemzi leads the fleet down that 315-meter straight to buoy number 2. The double sprint race winner in Qatar, once again the man to beat here. There's a three-way battle unfolding between Italians Stefano Pauletti, Norwegian Carlsen, and UAE's Al-Maherbi. Carlsen ducking and weaving behind Pauletti, trying to get his nose in somewhere, but the Italian has his eye on him in the rear view. Carlsen sees his chance on the 600-meter straightaway to buoy number 2, and he's got the top speed advantage as he drops Pauletti back down to fourth. There's another menace for Pauletti now as Al-Maherbi shoots up from the Italian starboard side. The Emirati and Italian going neck and neck, while Carlsen opens a 5-boat lead. Al-Maherbi also nudges ahead of Pauletti, pushing the Italian back to 5th place. As you can see, Pauletti and Al-Maherbi's radio men and women are also very much a part of the racing here. So far, as with the 2 sprint races back in Doha, the man to beat here is Rashid Al-Khemzi. As Christian Carlsen maintains 3rd place, a duel continues behind him between Pauletti and Al-Maherbi. The Italian slips in on the inside, but Al-Maherbi again has the extra pace down the straightaway. The Norwegian fans cheer on. Coming up behind the young Italian is Nations Cup newcomers Team Venezuela as Antonio Spitaleri moves up into 6th and challenges Pauletti. Team Italy keeps a wary eye on him. Further back, Saud Hamad of Saudi Arabia is moving up on the 2nd Russian boat, number 5, with Mikhail Kitashev. As Kitashev and Hamad come around buoy number 4, Hamad has the inside lane advantage, heading toward buoy number 1. Sure enough, Hamad dips in ahead of Kitashev and moves up into 7th spot, dropping the Russian back down a place in 8th. Good racing from the 29-year-old Saudi Arabian. Al-Khemzi still leads. Behind him, Stan Slatterdalen closing the distance in every lap, just ahead of his teammate Christian Carlsen in boat number 7, as Team Norway closes in on Al-Khemzi. Dmitry Vandyshev is out of the race. That's a big blow to Team Russia's chances. A look of frustration there for Team Russia. Mohamed Al-Maherbi still in the top 5, locked in a grueling dogfight with Stefano Pauletti as team manager Scott Gilman urges him on. Al-Maherbi is on the inside, Pauletti trying to pick up pace on the relatively flat water outside. The Emirati holding off the Italian, keeping tight on those turns. But the young Italian is relentless as he sticks to Al-Maherbi, looking for an opening in which to pounce on the 18-year-old Emirati. Pauletti nips and tucks his way in and out and seizes his chance on the 487 meters straight to buoy number 1, using his superior top speed to gain on Al-Maherbi. The 2 battling drivers now come around turn buoy number 2, heading into the longest straight of the race. Pauletti makes his move, he puts his weight into that throttle, and he has it! Pauletti pushes ahead of Al-Maherbi, moving into 4th place. But Mohamed Al-Maherbi's troubles aren't over. While he's trying to chase Pauletti, behind him comes Antonio Spitaleri of Venezuela, the number 5 boat pulling up almost neck and neck with Al-Maherbi. Antonio Spitaleri passes Al-Maherbi on turn number 2, and the Venezuelan leads the drag race to turn number 3. The Venezuelan team cheers on. Further back, it was an unlucky race for Khalid Al-Kuwari. Technical problems meant he started on the back foot, and his only motivation from lap 1 was to at least finish the race for much-needed points. The final lap now, Rashid Al-Khemzi is unstoppable. Nobody was able to find an answer to his speed, consistency, and concentration throughout this 26-lap race. Rashid Al-Khemzi of the UAE wins his 3rd consecutive sprint race. Great result for Al-Khemzi. He remains unbeaten in Nations Cup sprint racing. The Norwegians get a 2nd and 3rd place. Slatterdalen runner-up for the 2nd consecutive time. His teammate Christian Carlsen is 3rd. Celebration time for Norway. Race 1 results. A 5th place for Al-Maherbi will prove valuable for the UAE. The Saudis pick up 24 points. Bad day for Team Qatar. Great day for Team Norway.
I'm really tired, but from 10th place to 3rd, it's very good.
Also an excellent result for Team Venezuela, Spitaleri coming in at 6th. It was a great experience, both finishing the race and coming in 6th. I had trouble with my engine toward the end of the race, but that happens. It was a great experience, a great race, and a great event.
Bonita organización. La verdad que estoy contento.
Sprint Race 2, the final Nations Cup race of the year, would determine the outcome of both the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and the 2013 Nations Cup Championship. The Sprint Race 1 results would determine the Sprint Race 2 starting lineup. Al-Kemzi once again with pole. The race begins from the pontoon to turn boy number 1. Rashid Al-Kemzi pulls away early. Stan Slatterdalen already a few boat lengths behind Al-Kemzi. Stefano Polli started in 4th and passed Christian Carlsen right from the start. Now he's in between the two Norwegians. Toward the back of the field, there's a crash. It's Team Venezuela's Antonio Spitaleri and Team Lebanon's Lebos Chaguri. That's a yellow flag as the two boats are towed off the circuit. Here's the replay from Marco Gambi's on board. And Gambi cuts it close there with one of the Russian boats. Spitaleri was unhurt, but that was a disappointing end to his and Team Venezuela's first Nations Cup experience. Meanwhile, Chiguri motors back to the pontoon, his race also over. The pace boat heads onto the circuit as the boats line up for the green flag restart. There's the green flag for the running start. Pauletti in 4th position sets his sights on the Norwegian boats, trying to get out of their spray. Once again, it's Al-Kemzi who leads proceedings, with Slatterdalen and Carlsen just behind him. Having started in 5th position, Mohammed Al-Maherbi unfortunately had trouble from the outset, losing power in his engine. Bad luck for Team UAE. That meant more responsibility than ever on Rashid Al-Kemzi's shoulders, with the likes of Slatterdalen and Carlsen breathing down his neck. In Team Russia's number 6 boat, newcomer Konstantin Ustinov leaves Khalid Al-Kuwari behind him and makes his way up the field in his pursuit of the top boats. Surging up from 4th place, Stefano Pauletti makes a move on Christian Carlsen, overtaking the young Norwegian to move into 3rd place as Team Norway looks on. Also overtaking Carlsen is Dmitry Malkin of Team Russia. Carlsen now in all sorts of strife as Malkin closes in on Pauletti in 3rd place. Further back, big dogfight between Marco Gambi of Team Italy and Khalid Al-Kuwari of Team Qatar. Gambi passes Al-Kuwari on the straightaway, but Al-Kuwari hangs on in there, sticking to the inside. Marco Gambi has the pace to hold Al-Kuwari off, however, and he goes storming off down that top 487-meter straightaway between boys 4 and 1. In the lead, Stan Slatterdalen is in dogged pursuit of Al-Kemzi. These two are unarguably number 1 and 2 in the Nations Cup, Al-Kemzi winning every race he's entered, and Slatterdalen runner-up in every race he's entered. But can the Norwegian beat Al-Kemzi? Troubles continue for Christian Carlsen. He's chased by Naim Al-Kadawi as his boat comes to a standstill, and the other boats pass him by. Disappointment for Team Norway as Carlsen is towed off. That's another yellow flag. The boats bunch up, giving an opportunity for the drivers to get a jump on the boats ahead. With boat number 7 towed off, the race was restarted. Once again, Al-Kemzi led, with Slatterdalen giving chase. Behind the constant Emirati-Norwegian fight, Italian Stefano Pauletti trying to challenge Slatterdalen. Further back, Konstantin Ustinov is followed by Saud Hamad and Marco Gambi of Italy. Mohammed Al-Maherbi of Team UAE slowing down again on lap 17. His race is over this time, but he'll still try to get some points here for the UAE as his teammate Al-Kemzi now carries UAE hopes. Slaptadalen has no answer for Al-Khamzi once again, as the UAE driver heads toward his 4th sprint race win in a row. What a result for Al-Khamzi, winning all Nations Cup sprint races for 2013. Great result also for Stan Slaptadalen, holding off Poletti for yet another runner-up finish. The race 2 results: Ustinov and Malkin 4th and 5th for Team Russia, Gambi 6th, the Saudi drivers 7th and 9th. Team Norway nabbed 3rd place at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Team Italy runners-up. Team UAE the winners, thanks to Al-Khamzi's incredible performances. Russia settles for 4th, just ahead of Saudi Arabia, and Qatar 6th. The final overall results for 2013, again, it's Team UAE.
Yeah, it's nice. It's the 3rd year for the Nations Cup victory. We have a great team, a lot of support from the Abu Dhabi Marine Sport Club and Sheikh Sultan, and you know, the team's been together for a long time. We bring new drivers each year, and hopefully as they get older, we'll bring them into Formula One.
That concludes the 2013 UIM Nations Cup season. See you next year.